So I'm going to read you chapter 9 and 10 today in A Dog's Way Home. So let's start. Chapter 9, Abby. I sat on the window seat in my room, listening to the quiet. No jinglings of tags on Tim's collar. No click of his toenails on the pinewood floors. Nothing but put wrist silence. I felt sick all the way through. The past 2 days we've been home feel like 20. My eyes settled on my old guitar sitting in the corner. I hardly touched it in the 3 years since I had Tim. I've been so busy with him. Now that my arms and my heart were empty without Tim, I wanted to hold that guitar to me more than anything. I want to feel the comfort of its weight and the hum of the strings. I just started to get up when I heard a peck on my door, and Mima opened it. She stood tall and straight as a Carolina pine, her long braid wrapped like a fairy crown on top of her head. "Abby, honey, you got a visitor," she said. I plopped back down, and in stepped my friend Olivia McButters, the littlest, shyest, smartest girl in the whole 6th grade, maybe even the world. Olivia peered at me from behind her big glasses. Most of the kids at class say her pale green glasses were creepy. They do seem to look right into a person's soul, but to my way of thinking, that wasn't a bad thing. Olivia crossed the room and sat beside me. She sighed. "I'm sorry about Tim." No small talk for Olivia. She cut right to the chase. "I just don't know what to do or what to think," I said, around a big knot of tears in my throat. "And that makes me so mad I could spit." Olivia touched the back of my hand light as a butterfly. "I know exactly what you mean." And she wasn't just saying that to be nice neither. She really did know. Right after Christmas last year, Olivia moved to Harmony Gap from way up in Baltimore, Maryland. She moved here to live with her granddaddy, Mr. Alphys Inger, after her mama and daddy disappeared over at the Pacific Ocean in one of those little bitty airplanes. Olivia told me once she reckoned her mama was now a mermaid, something her mama always wanted to be, and that gave Olivia a measure of comfort. We sat there on the window seat for a long time, not saying a word. Just listening to the wind and the trees, thunder rolling around in the far mountains. Finally I asked, "Olivia, do you think there's any chance Tim's still alive?" Olivia will be honest with me, I know. She didn't say anything for a long moment. Her eyes drifted around my room, taking in the photographs and drawings of Tim's. All my special handmade story maps of the things me and Tim had done and the adventures I had planned for us. Then she turned and looked directly into my eyes. My mom often said love creates miracles, and that was all Olivia had to say about that, and it was all I need to hear. After she left, I hobbled across the room and picked up my old guitar. It'd been my Grandpa Bill's pride and joy. I don't remember Grandpa Bill all that well. We moved in here with Mima after he was killed in the sawmill accident, but all my memories of him are wrapped around him and this guitar. I carried it back over to my bed, ran my hand across the string. I hugged the guitar against my stomach and felt the charred drum against my heart. I closed my eyes, dug way back in the memory, and sang the first song I came across. "This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine." The next day, me and Daddy bumped along the red clay road that took us to Harmony Gap. Daddy hummed under his breath. "Daddy," I said, "we've been home for days now. When we're going back up to Virginia to look for Tim?" Daddy stopped humming and rubbed the back of his neck like he always does when he doesn't know the answer to something. "I'm not exactly sure, Peanut. Soon." "Mama promised," I reminded him. "I know she did," Daddy said with a frown, "but you've both had a doctor appointment and whatnot. Plus, she had to go back to work, you know. She can't just take off work whenever she feels like it." I thought my head would explode like a volcano. "She promised." Daddy shot me a look. I know what was said, Abby. I was there too, remember? And what she said was, we try our best to get back up there. Doesn't seem to me like there's a whole heck of a lot of trying going on, I muttered. Besides, Daddy said, ignoring me, you've been calling that ranger station every day at least once. They know to watch out for him. Daddy swung the truck into the parking space in front of the post office. Let's get these packages of yarn mail off to your mama's customers. He scooped up a big stack of boxes labeled Whistler Farm Specialty Fibbers. Old Mr. McGrubber was the only one behind the high one desk, which accounted for the line of people waiting to do their business. Mr. McGrubber saw it as his God-given duty to ask after every customer's health and their family's health and all their animals' health, and then told them about his. I signed and shifted my weight on those crunches. Daddy smiled down at me and winked. Hey there, Abby. A hand touches my shoulder. Mr. Morgan, kind eyes took in my bandaged-up head. Crunches encased. Hey, Mr. Morgan, I said. Me and Tim took our first agility class from him. I sure was sorry to hear about your accident, he said, shaking his head, and about Tim. He was a real special little dog. I stood up as straight as I could and looked him directly in the eye. We're heading back up there in the next day or two to get him. Mr. Morgan's bushy black eyebrows pulled together. Someone found him? Daddy shook his head. Not exactly yet, I said, but he's up there waiting for me. I can feel it. Mr. Morgan and Daddy passed one of those looks between them. Well, I hope that's true, Abby, honey, Mr. Morgan said, patting my shoulder. At supper that night, I said, Mama, are we going back up to Virginia this weekend to find Tim? Everyone stopped chewing. Daddy and Mima looked at Mama. Mama set down her fork and ran her napkin across her lips. Well, I hadn't had time to think about it. You promised, remember? I said, not looking at Daddy. Mama nodded. Yes, I said we'd do our best to get back up there. She looked at Daddy. What do you think, Ian? Daddy frowned. It's a long way back up to Virginia. Even if we made a 3-day weekend of it, it'd mostly be driving. It's not that far, I said. We could be back up there in no time. Mama and Daddy looked at me like I'd grown 2 heads. Abby, honey, it's well over 400 miles from here to where y'all crash on the parkway, Daddy said. I about spit my piece across the table. 400 miles? That can't be right. We made it home in no time, and you slept most of the way back, Mama pointed out. I looked at Mima. She nodded. We've been calling the ranger station every day, though, Mama said. It's not the time, I snapped. Abby, Daddy warned. No, Abby's right. It's not the same, Mama said. I about fell off my chair in pure astonishment. I did say we'd try our best to get back up there. I always keep my word. Daddy sighed. All right. I reckon it won't hurt to take a quick trip back up there. We'll leave Friday and come back Sunday. Can we come back Monday, I asked. No, Abby. We've let you stay out of school this week, but you can afford to miss any more. I was sorely tempted to point out that until just a couple years ago, Faye homeschooled me, but Mima is forever reminding me you catch more flies with honey than with vinegar. So instead, I smiled sweet as coconut cream pie and said, Thank you, Mama. I just know we'll find him at this time. That was on Wednesday. On Thursday, Daddy Van broke down in Nashville. I'm sorry, Peanut, Daddy said when he finally got a ride home that night. I know you had your heart set on leaving tomorrow to Virginia, but we don't have a way to get up there. We have to, Daddy. Can't we borrow a car or something? Daddy rubbed a greasy hand across his tired face. I got to get our van fixed until your mama gets her new truck. We're stuck. But, Daddy... Enough buts, he said. I'm just as frustrated as you are. The band is scheduled to head out for a bunch of gigs next week. I need that van working. He signed a long, deep down sigh. Lord knows where the money going to come from to fix it. He pulled back the covers and patted the bed. Maybe once your mama gets her new truck, y'all can make a trip back up. Until then, we'll keep calling and praying. I burrowed down into the warm smell of Tim in my blankets. Ginseng, the cat, purred on the pillow next to me. Fighting back an ocean of tears, I said, I'll never give up on finding Tim, Daddy. Never. Chapter 10, Tim. As the days passed, hunger as strong as his need for the girl drove Tim. The light step that had carried him for days and miles grew heavier. Still, as preciously 3:30 every afternoon, the hunger to see his girl propelled him south along the parkway. Tim nosed a paper bag bound to the side of the road. All he found were 2 dried-up French fries and a shivered piece of lettuce. He licked a smear of ketchup from the inside of the bag and moved on. He watched squirrels and chipmunks stuff acorns and berries in their bulging cheeks. But the acorn were better, the berry tough and sour. He picked at whatever green grass he could find, but it wasn't enough. Tim was starving. On a cloudy late afternoon, a sense pulled Tim to a place where people had been. He nosed around the picnic tables dotting the meadow. He found a few crusts of bread and some potato chips, but as hard as he searched, he found nothing else. A dust descended on the mountains. Tim scratched out a bed beneath a picnic table, miserably filled his stomach. A small brick bathroom squatted to the side of the parking lot. A fire with Tim's face flapped in the evening breeze. A crash woke him, peering through the light rain. Tim saw the black mask of a raccoon as he crawled across an overturned garbage can. The raccoon pried and pulled at the metal top with his human-like hands, methodically working the edge of the lid, then bracing his powerful back legs against the bottom of the trash can. He tugged at the top edge until the top popped off. Tim's nose filled with the scent of food. The raccoon dug through the garbage. He pulled out half-eaten sandwich, apple corns, hot dog buns, fried chicken remains, and a carton of old potato salad, and an empty soda can rolled down the parking lot. Tim crept from under the picnic table and moved toward the garbage can and the wonderful smell of food. He knew about garbage. He had gotten in trouble more than once for tipping over the tall can in the kitchen. The old woman had scolded him and shut him outside. After the girl had called him bad dog in her angry voice, he'd never gone into the garbage again. But now Tim was starving, and as much as the memory of the displeasing his girl held him back. The hunger clawing at his stomach pushed him forward. The raccoon sorted busily through the trash. He didn't hear Tim until he barked a friendly woof. Tim wagged his tail hopefully. He'd never met a raccoon before, but this one reminded him of the cat at home. The raccoon hunched over his prize, growling and hissing. Sometimes the cat hissed too, but it was just part of the game they play. Tim wagged his tail again, took one step forward. The raccoon bristled. He pulled his lips back, flashing sharp white teeth. The shutty barked, thrust his head forward. Quick as a flash, the raccoon raked his claws across Tim's face, barely missing his eyes. Tim smelled blood. This had never happened with the cats. Tim retreated to his shelter under the picnic table, his sorrowful eyes abrim with misery. After a time, the creature waddled off. Tim watched the garbage. Once he was certain the raccoon was not coming back, he returned to the can. All that remained were a few chicken bones, a watermelon rind, and half the hot dog bun. The memory of his girl's voice saying, "Bad dog, Tim," faded with every bite he took. It rained hard for 2 days. Autumnal winds stripped the last of the bright yellow leaves from the tree. Tim pushed farther into the corner of the brick bathroom, watching wind blow sheets of rain past the doorway. What little garbage there had been in the cans. Tim had eaten. He licked a cut on his pad, then sighed. He slipped as the day slipped from gray to black. Headlights swung into the parking lot, settled just above Tim. Laughter and the slam of a car door startled him from sleep. Music throbbed from the car. Tim sat up, nose sorting through the scents of rain, wet earth, sweet smoke, and people. Unsteady footsteps tumbled toward Tim. He had whined uncertainly. Something about the car, the laughter, and the human coming toward him didn't smell right. Still, people meant food. His instincts told him to run and hide before anyone saw him. His stomach told him to stay. Too late. Tim decided to honor his instinct to run. Just as he started to scoot away the doorway, long legs and big feet blocked his way. He scrambled to the corner. Holy crap, a voice cried. It's a fox in here. Legs and feet stumbled backward, tripped over a tree root. Body sprawling, hoots of laughter from the car, angry voice from the woman on the wet ground. Tim crouches, muscles tense. Just as he was about to shoot through the doorway, a bottle exploded above his head. Foul-smelling liquid and glass rained down upon him. The human pulled himself up off the ground. Get you no good vermin. Tim cowered, looking frantically for a way out. The man moved toward him, smelling of anger. For the first time in Tim's life, he bared his teeth and growled at a human. The man stopped just short of the doorway. Tim growled louder, warning him away. Why, you no good chicken killer, the human growled back. He grabbed a rock and hurled it at the dog. The stone ridge shot like gunshots off the brick wall. Tim yelped in alarm. The man turned his back to Tim and called through the rain. Hey, Beatty, you got your shotgun? I got me a fox corner over here and I need to take care of. When the human looked back, the bathroom was empty. So I'm just going to stop here. If you want to hear more, just find a black screen and then you'll hear about A Dog's Way Home. Bye.